on the British Virgin Islands here in Group D. Alongside our entire crew, Sean St. Jacques, happy to have you with us. As you can tell by the scenes here, just about picture-perfect weather. 76 degrees, clouds in the sky, really more for presentation than anything else. Very excited under these wonderful conditions to play the beautiful game here today. It is a Group D double header. We, of course, have Puerto Rico and the British Virgin Islands coming up first, followed by the Group D hosts, Costa Rica, taking on Turks and Caicos in our second game about an hour after the first game concludes. Multiple things to tell you about this format. Obviously, we've already had some action in this round of qualifying. They're playing, all these teams are, for first place in the group. That is what will qualify you for the 2026 Under-17 FIFA World Cup, which will again be played in Qatar as it was in 2025. So, time is immediately of the essence. It feels almost like a World Cup qualifying group, even
Damas y caballeros, nos ponemos de pie para escuchar las notas de los himnos nacionales de Puerto Rico e Islas Vírgenes Británicas.
Esclavo lleno de admiración.
Educating our people is a goal. Making us
As always, wonderful renditions of both countries' national anthems as the two sets of competitors exchange pleasantries here in Costa Rica. Hello again, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, our entire crew. As always, it is a pleasure to be with you as we get set for Group D action, the opening match day in Concacaf Under-17 qualifiers on the road to the FIFA Under-17 World Cup. We start with the starting lineups. Fittingly enough, we start with Puerto Rico under the tutelage of Eduardo Jimenez. You immediately, of course, look at the attacking options, the likes of Nicolas Gonzalez, Diego Echeverria, Dacian Delgado, who captains the side, will help to lead the attacking front. Andre Fernandez anchors the midfield. Daniel Valle is in goal. And the likes of Adrian Soto will hope to keep the goals out defensively. Alexi Perry of Jamaica is our head official. Grenada, Trinidad and Tobago, and Belize also represented amongst our on-field officials. And a friendly reminder that their decisions are final. There is no VAR in this qualifying round. Our officials are waiting for our two sets of captains to show up. We mentioned Delgado will lead the line for Puerto Rico. On the other side of things, Theo Coombs will lead the line for the British Virgin Islands, particularly that midfield line that they will hope can win plenty of battles for the British Virgin Islands today. That'll be a pretty key cog in who could potentially get the jump on the other two teams in Group D. So the captains fulfill their duties at the halfway line. The coin toss is complete. The pictures are taken as we look at Felix Percival's starting 11 for the British Virgin Islands. Dre Prince leads the attacking line alongside Richard Arthur, Miles Penn, and company. Coombs captains the side in the midfield alongside Quinn Pascoe and Mark Tan. Morris Mark III gets the starting goal. Stewart, McSheen, and Tucker in a back three, interestingly enough, that could, of course, adjust into a back five with those outside wing backs for the British Virgin Islands. Can they be potent enough in the attack and be able to transition back into defensive shape in order to keep Puerto Rico out? That'll be another interesting talking point, considering how the British Virgin Islands plan to set up, at least at the start of this Group D opener. It is the first ever meeting between these two countries at these Concacaf Under-17 men's qualifiers. We're definitely fascinated to see what the end result will be. Puerto Rico are in blue with the white and the red trim. The British Virgin Islands are in predominantly yellow kits with the white and the green trim. Puerto Rico will play a Caribbean team for the third time on the opening match day of these qualifiers. One win and one loss in the prior two Caribbean meetings. A win over Bonaire almost a year ago to the day, February 10th of last year, by 3-0, but a 4-0 defeat to Cuba back in March of 1991. Second time the British Virgin Islands are facing a fellow Caribbean team in the opening game. They had a 4-0 win over St. Martin almost a year ago to the day on February 7th. And off we go from Alajuela in Costa Rica. A little bit windy in Costa Rica at kickoff, but other than that, it is just about picture perfect to kick off a doubleheader in the beautiful game. Again, Sean St. Jacques, our entire crew, always a privilege to be with you and fascinated to see which of these two teams can pole vault very quickly indeed to the top of the group. Well, we mentioned at the top of the broadcast that only the first place team, when the round robin group stage play is done, will advance to the FIFA Under-17 World Cup later this year. So time is very much of the essence. The first round of match day games could really tell us a lot about where this group could end up. Puerto Rico on the front foot here, trying to create an early opportunity. This is Andre Fernandez picking up the pieces. Forced to reset back to Jordan Interiano. Clip forward, Palacios has it cut out. And then on the turn, the British Virgin Islands, through Combs and company, are able to win the ball back, but only for a split second, as Nicolas Gonzalez got on the end of it, but his lack of control leads to a throw-in. Remember, both of these teams will be trying to put some pressure on Group D favorites and hosts, Costa Rica, who we'll see later on this afternoon. And they will take on, of course, the fourth member of this four-team group in Turks and Caicos. That's a lovely ball played down the line on this near side. Oh, and the cross was dangerous as well. I think Mark III gets a touch onto that, the goalkeeper. It bounces out for a throw-in on the far side. Quickly put back into play. Lovely incisive pass just out of reach. But Puerto Rico have a throw-in yet again. We mentioned it earlier, the defensive unit, Tucker, Stewart, McSheen. Can they keep Puerto Rico out? They've certainly got a few early tests here. They'll clear that out on the far side. Yet another early throw-in for Puerto Rico to work with. That was cleared away by Carlin Stewart. Puerto Rico changed the avenue of the attack. Interiano assesses his options. Plays it square for Denzel Palacios out wide. Luis Morninglane lays it off. Nicolas Gonzalez plays it square. Now Interiano. Fernandez. First time ball over the top is not controlled. And the British Virgin Islands try to work their way out of trouble here, but they are dispossessed. Adrian Soto tries to track it down, but the British Virgin Islands will maintain possession via a throw. Put back in by DeAndre McSheen, tried to pick out an attacking teammate, but quickly Puerto Rico put themselves back on the front foot. Some miscommunication does slow down the transitional move. Simmons switches the point of the attack. Lovely give and go to the byline. Cross is blocked, second attempt. Oh, it squeezes through and it rolls in. The British Virgin Islands are left perplexed here as Dacian Delgado scores a captain's goal for Puerto Rico to give them the lead inside of 5 first half minutes. Well, we're left wondering as well how this managed to go in. Delgado, did he get a touch onto it? Mark commits off of his line here. Who's the last one to touch it? It does look like Delgado gets a toe onto it and spins it over the line to give Puerto Rico the lead as their early persistence pays off. Mark did get a slight fingertip on it, but could not keep it out. It's Delgado's goal. It's a captain's goal. It's Puerto Rico 1, the British Virgin Islands 0. Well, you wondered after the first attempt to cross it into the middle was blocked away if the angle was just too much against Puerto Rico to try that same pass again. But they fit it through, and Delgado gets enough power on it to beat Morris Mark III and give his country a valuable early lead. Have to give Morris Mark III a bit of credit. He clearly got something on it as the ball spinned and just about spinned all the way over the line. Remember, the ball has to fully go over the line for it to be a goal. And based on the replay, it clearly got all the way over, only just. And it ends up being the perfect start that Puerto Rico would have been hoping for. 1-0 up with 5 minutes gone. You hear it in the beautiful game all the time. Just cross the ball. You never quite know what will happen. Another great cross into the middle here, and Puerto Rico in a flash are 2-0 up. It's a Delgado double inside of 7 minutes. Wow. Well, if the first goal was a scrappy goal, the second goal was silky smooth from Eduardo Jimenez's group, and they double the Puerto Rican delight in a flash. 2-0 in the blink of an eye. Brilliant feed into the middle. Delgado given too much space to operate, and he smashes it into the bottom left-hand corner. An early Puerto Rican 1-2 punch and a 2-0 lead. It appears to be that same combination down that far right-hand side. And this time, the early feed into Delgado was the right decision. Dacian Delgado had plenty of space to work with and used his time to perfection. Morris Mark III, nothing the goalkeeper could do about it. Now, can the British Virgin Islands find a response here? Referee says clean challenge. And Daniel Valle resets. A long ball over the top goes out for a throw-in. The British Virgin Islands cannot do much with it. They give possession right back to Puerto Rico and already 2-0 down. That is not what you want to see. In that particular moment, they rushed into that. And Puerto Rico can continue their early control. Soto knifes it through to the edge of the area. It's well closed down upon. But Puerto Rico have a set piece on this near side to work with after a good challenge from Stewart defensively. Diego Echeverria is going to take the corner. And from the corner, it's headed down, and on the doorstep, it's put in for number 3. Luis Morninglane on the doorstep gives Puerto Rico an early, commanding 3-0 lead. There was 1 or 2 hints of offside in that. The flag stays down, and as easy as 1, 2, 3, it's 3-0 Puerto Rico. Oh, from that angle, you do look over to this near side to Jaheim Bajai. Keep Morninglane on side here, number 14 in yellow. Morninglane certainly knew what to do with it when it fell to his feet. A quick turn and a twist. It does look like that Bajai, number 14, he does not step forward in time. And from that goal mouth angle, it does look like he keeps Morninglane on side. And Puerto Rico take full advantage. Well, that's one of those where the British Virgin Islands just did not keep their shape all the way through the move. Bajai caught out defensively, And Luis Morning Lane easily could have been caught offside there, but is the beneficiary and just needed to find a quick finish. And that's exactly what he came up with. Now, can the British Virgin Islands pounce on this opportunity? The answer is no. The wind really took that one out of play. And it is going to be a goal kick. It was the right idea. That was Miles Penn. Down that far sideline, had the right plan of trying to cross it into the middle, but put too much air underneath it. It's going to be crossed again into the middle. Oh, what a chance that is! And a side-winding propeller strike goes wide of the target. That would have been an exquisite finish. Oh, nearly a goal to take your breath away here. It ends up deflecting out for a corner. We may go back to that again. That was a wonderful attempt. British Virgin Islands need to keep themselves stable here from yet another corner. Echeverria stands over it. Oh, and our referee was just checking to make sure everything was in order. As the British Virgin Islands did bring a player forward as a wall, if you will, to try to block this corner. Oh, and at the back stick, it's headed, but headed wide. Off the head of Nicolas Gonzalez. All of that coming off what would have been a sensational acrobatic attempt from open play that just bounced wide. It did look like the goalkeeper was beaten there. But unfortunately, from a Puerto Rican point of view, it bounces wide of the target. Again, the right idea from the British Virgin Islands point of view, just trying to find that incisive feed through the lines. But Puerto Rico have the numbers back to restabilize. And Tiriano plays it forward. Mooring lane, back over the halfway line. Fernandez. Lovely little swivel move from Soto. Another incisive feed to Delgado. Helped along by Simmons. And then the feed is cut out, blocked away. But Puerto Rico are still on the prowl here. The ball played forward. Just allows the boys in blue to reset. Gonzalez fits that through beautifully. And again, down this far side, a chance. Was that a trip? Referee points and says, yes, it was a trip, and it is a penalty. Mooring lane brought down inside the 18-yard box, and Puerto Rico have a chance to add another here. Now here's the look. It's Miles Penn on the cover. Remember, there's no VAR, so the decision is final. Tough to tell through a sea of legs there, but it did look like there was contact. And it will be Diego Echeverria to step up and take this early spot kick. Up against Morris Mark III. Echeverria takes his time over it and dispatches the penalty with ease to make it 4-0. Sends Morris Mark III the wrong way. And Puerto Rico's picture-perfect start continues. Another look at the possible penalty here. Again, was there enough contact there, I think is what the British Virgin Islands would be asking. The referee said there was, and Echeverria makes no mistake. It's a wonderful penalty. And Puerto Rico have a quartet of early goals in these qualifiers. Well, you could see why Echeverria was chosen to take the penalty. Cool as a cucumber from the penalty spot, and there were no ifs, ands, or buts about it whatsoever. Especially at the youth levels, these under 15, 17, etc., picking a penalty taker, I'm sure, as a coach, is a difficult decision. It's a major tournament. There's a lot on the line. Who do you trust? And clearly, Eduardo Jimenez trusts Diego Echeverria, and the evidence was rather clear from the spot kick. As the flag goes up, meanwhile, offside and a free kick for the British Virgin Islands. Interiano plays it square for Palacios, who looks to fire up another attack for Puerto Rico in the final third. 4 goals from 3 different goal scorers and not even 20 minutes gone. I would say that's just about how Eduardo Jimenez would have drawn it up. Now Soto trying to cut it back. 3 defenders around him, and it's eventually cleared out for a throw. You can hear multiple Puerto Rican players try to play quick, as they put it. Soto on the byline. And it appears he was brought down, and that's going to be a free kick. I think it would have been a corner anyway. Off the defensive work. Wasn't for that first challenge, I think it was for the second one. Richard Arthur, who's really supposed to be up front, attacking up the other end, has had to come back and help the British Virgin Islands defend, as you'd expect. And from the free kick, it's going to be taken short. Interiano tries to dig out a cross. He cannot. It's blocked and cleared upfield, only for Maxino to re-enter it. Another chance on the far byline. It's crossed, deflected out of play, and now we'll have a corner on the far side. More defensive work. for the British Virgin Islands in need of another stop. Soto to take. Soto's ball into the middle is headed high into the air. Delgado nearly tracked it down before it was cleared away. Remember, Dacian Delgado is on a first half hat trick already, has 2 of the 4. For Puerto Rico, Echeverria from the penalty spot, Luis Mooring Lane picking up the scraps off a corner and scoring. That's well defended and cleared by Combs on the near side, trying to pick out Richard Arthur, but it's swept up by Interiano. Back to Valle, the goalkeeper. Early ball clipped up ahead. Delgado nearly tracks it down in very tight quarters. But give credit, the British Virgin Islands eventually get it off him and clear. Maxino plays it down the far sideline. Early cross into the middle, Delgado on a hat trick here. Ends up laying it off. Oh, and the shot hits off the bar. Did it go in? The follow-up header is over the top. It did not go in. It's a goal kick. 1 or 2 appeals for the ball going over the line, but the referee says it did not. Another look. What a strike it was. This will be the definitive view on it. Did it go over? It very much did not. Great decision. It happened so quickly that you did wonder for a moment where it bounced on the ground. It clearly did not go over the line. And the follow-up header by Adrian Soto had a good look at it to get it back on target. He loops it over the top, and it lands on the roof of the net. Wow. Now the British Virgin Islands try to bring this up the other end. And I think that was more of a shot than anything else. A bit wasteful. But again, there's so many numbers on that far side. Either way, Puerto Rico are totally fine with that, and they get back to work on the ball. The ball is poked forward on this near side. The weaving run of Soto to keep the possession. He then gets it back with more room to operate here. They try to close him down. He slides it through beautifully for Fernandez. And Andre Fernandez cannot hit the target. Now then, from the takeaway. It's fed through beautifully. It could open up for another chance here, and it's a wonderful finish. Off the takeaway, it slid through, and Nicolas Gonzalez makes it 5. Well, Puerto Rico worked very quickly here off the takeaway. Maxino slides it through. Tight angle, I must say, for Gonzalez, but he beats the goalkeeper at his near post and slides it through. And Puerto Rico's fabulous first half continues here in Alajuela. 5 goals from a 4th now. Different goal scorer. And the perfect first half continues for Puerto Rico. Really a dream. First 26 minutes and change. Well, they're on the front foot again on this far side, about midway through the British Virgin Islands half. Speared over to Fernandez, who cushions his touch and cuts in field. Fernandez slides it through, looking for Delgado. And the British Virgin Islands maybe could have handled that a bit better. Morris Mark III was off his line, ready to pick that up. Miles Penn did not see him and clears it out for a corner. Now then, from the ensuing corner. Tight quarters in that far corner to get a run up. But Soto's ball, it is wonderful, and so is the header. That is a wonderful finish from Caleb Simmons. A delicately weighted header that loops in the back and gives it Puerto Rico a 6th goal here. A majestic header from a wonderfully placed delivery off the corner, and the British Virgin Islands rue the mistake that leads to it, the miscommunication between Mark and Penn, not on the same page, and Puerto Rico make them pay. Superb header from Simmons. Fernandez, meanwhile, overzealous down this near side channel, commits a foul, and McSheen wins a free kick for the British Virgin Islands. That ball was looped over the top. The likes of Arthur and Dre Prince, who've been dying to get on the ball, just trying to get some touches, really, are not found in behind. And again, it allows Puerto Rico to reset once again with the ball. That ball is looped over the top. Again, there's blue shirts queuing up in the middle. Lovely cutback. It's clipped into the center. And it is spooned out of play for yet another corner. I could hear one or two words of encouragement from the British Virgin Islands technical area. Trying to have the guys stay strong. He said no free headers from these corners. It has been difficult for the British Virgin Islands in this first half an hour, specifically defending these set piece opportunities. Sometimes it's just been as simple as communication not quite being there. Puerto Rico from this corner, and this time the British Virgin Islands deal with it expertly and head it out of the area. And they could have a chance to counterattack here, but it's well defended. Adrian Soto stops it and actually wins his country a throw-in all in one foul swoop. Here's Simmons. Interiano. Delgado's layoff for Simmons. It finds its way back to Delgado. Makes the extra pass, the first time ball across. Flicked header, not quite cleared. Clip back into the middle. It's headed high into the air and onto the roof of the net for another corner. That time Mark Tan and company doing enough defensive work to stop the attack. There's the Soto delivery. That was headed away but not cleared. Then the follow-up attempt was the one I think that Tan gets his head onto and gives up the corner. Another set piece, another good defensive header away, and a good clearance on the back end of it. It's not definitively cleared as it's scooped back towards the edge of the area, and Puerto Rico will settle for a throw-in. A shot from the outskirts of the area. Flashes wide from Soto. And it's a goal kick. You could tell Soto was looking to shoot pretty much all the way there. Although he did have a couple of teammates over in the center of the penalty area. That's Palacios trying to loop that over the top. Delgado finds his way onto it, lays it off for Soto, who smashes it wide. Ooh, and Tiriano needs to be careful there. Luckily for him, Valle made a good, strong first touch to get away from that pressure that the British Virgin Islands were briefly putting on there. The British Virgin Islands, for a brief moment, had a spell of possession there. They still could, but it's an errant clearance. Allows Puerto Rico to transition into an attacking move here. It's defended well at the expense of a corner. Maxino was making the run in behind. And Puerto Rico, with just over 10 minutes of normal time left in the half, have yet another set piece to work with here. The last couple of corners they've dealt with well, the British Virgin Islands, and they deal with this one just as well initially. But the return feed, Delgado cannot get it. Oh, and Fernandez stings one in there. But Morris Mark III makes a really good stop. Andre Fernandez, it falls very kindly to him here. That is a heck of a whack with that left boot. Great stop by the British Virgin Islands goalkeeper here, and it's out for a corner. Echeverria from the corner. It was headed centrally. That challenge came in and it's blazed over the top. A couple of penalty shouts came in from the Puerto Rican players there. Delgado gets back up onto his feet. It's a goal kick. Well, you wondered for a split second there if the referee was going to hand out a second penalty. In the first half, he deemed that the challenge was fair. The follow-up attempt was nowhere near the target. Now then, another incisive feed for Soto on the byline. Fernandez joins in. Tried to find a teammate on the edge of the area, Fernandez. He gets it back. Interiano plays it square. Palacios for Delgado. Delgado just about kept it alive, but then it was cleared away. 3 defenders around Dacian Delgado. Clipped up ahead by Palacios. Chance on the byline to make some headway. It ricochets out for a corner. Soto has to go up the hill a little bit before providing the delivery, and Mark III makes the catch. Well, we were briefly in Olympico territory there. Well held by the goalkeeper. Well, that is one of the tougher things to navigate on this surface, is that far left-hand side corner. You saw there Adrian Soto. He hasn't really used the hill, but that hill makes it a little bit tougher to get enough, well, velocity at times behind those corners. You did see him run up the hill or use the hill to run down and then get enough behind it. Puerto Rico get the throw after the ball did stay in play there. And then Delgado is chopped down. 1 or 2 words from the referee to Dre Prince, and a free kick for Puerto Rico, and a good exchange afterwards. Well, how do you stop Delgado? Sometimes you just need to commit, and he commits a bit too early there, Dre Prince. And his overzealous challenge gives Puerto Rico another set-piece opportunity. Ooh, and goalkeeper says no wall, wants to get guys back defending 1v1 here. It's going to be played short for Soto. And Soto is dispossessed. And the British Virgin Islands snuff out the set piece. Well, it ended up being the right decision. The goalkeeper, Morris Mark, says mark up, and that, in the end, stopped the set piece from providing anything fruitful. There's moments like that as a goalkeeper at any age where it's really up to you how to set things up defensively from those tight set-piece opportunities within 30 yards or so. And Morris Mark III makes the right decision there in a very quick moment and very likely prevented a chance. Soto plays that down the line. Delgado coming a little bit further out to this near side. And he's won his side a throw after the challenge came in from Carlin Stewart, who has had some positive defensive moments in the half, and the referee there reiterating that it is a throw-in, not a corner. Now on the byline. Oh, it found its way into the middle. The extra pass over to the far side of the area, and the speared attempt is blocked. Follow-up attempt on the byline is crossed into the middle. Oh, and Morris Mark was able to touch it away. The follow-up attempt is spooned over the top. Wow. Critical goalkeeping there from the British Virgin Islands. There were 2 men over for Puerto Rico. It's put into the middle by Mooring Lane, and there's the critical touch from Mark III. Hands on Puerto Rican heads. 2 men in blue were wide open, and Morris, Mark III, gets the critical touch that stops the attempt. Couple of great moments from the British Virgin Islands goalkeeper in just the last few moments. And a tussle there. Combs getting tangled up with Delgado. The British Virgin Islands get the free kick. But can they create anything from it on this near side? They really have not had much time, beg your pardon, on the ball in this first half, and you can kind of see why. It's been a bit disjointed with the ball at their feet. Almost trying a little too quickly to push the ball forward without the numbers required. And another case in point of it there, sees it turned over. That's a giveaway. Soto. Referee said it was a fair challenge that leads to Soto's weaving run. A wonderful layoff. Oh, and the shot is just wide. But I think the referee says it took a deflection. That was Nicolas Gonzalez, who has scored already. And it may have been tipped wide of the post here. Wonderful build-up. And does it skim off the boot of Mark III? Referee says it did. And the last couple of minutes, Morris, Mark III, has continued to shine. Soto takes the corner short. Chance to cross this into the middle. Oh, it was a free header for Simmons. And then it was kept in, was it? No, it was not. Well, despite an incredible attempt to try to keep the ball in, the volley was saved by Morris Mark III, but it did go out of play before we got there. But the goalkeeper was not to know that and makes a great save on it anyway. Well, it's as if Morris Mark III has said, enough of this, I got to step up for my team, and has made 3 or 4 fantastic plays in front of his own net in the last just 3 minutes. He's left a couple of his opposition with their hands on their heads, quite literally, wondering how he has stopped them. And we are 2 minutes away from the first half coming to a stop. Puerto Rico want to hunt down a few more, potentially. Another layoff here, Echeverria, galloping past challenges. But the ball out to the far side rolls out of play. Echeverria wondering whether or not a teammate or two could have gotten on the end of that. But it fizzles out. Still about a minute and change left in the half. That's another miscue. Mooring Lane this time. Couple of uncharacteristic miscues at the end of the half from Puerto Rico have opened the doors slightly for maybe a chance for the British Virgin Islands. Miles Penn from the throw. It's poked forward for Soto off the takeaway. Puerto Rico have numbers here. Soto slides it through. Delgado looking for the hat trick. And he hits the outside of the frame. The stanchion behind the goal is what makes contact with the ball, and it's well wide in the end. Now the look, that metal bar that holds up the net is what the ball strikes. Oh, and there could be a problem here for the British Virgin Islands, a man down inside their own 6. Well, that leads to a late reset for both teams. The 2 minutes are up, but of course the referee will stop the watch, you would think, for this injury to be taken care of. That's the last thing the British Virgin Islands need, particularly in the first game of this group phase, to have an important player down, but now that player is back up. It is DeAndre McSheen, who just needed a moment or two, and they may have to evaluate him at the half, and the referee calls the half right there. So it is halftime here in Alajuela, and the half for Puerto Rico was just about perfect, I would say. 6 goals from 5 different goal scorers, including a penalty conversion, 2 of them scored by the captain, Delgado, and the likes of Gonzalez, Echeverria, and Mooring Lane also getting involved as well. And, well, it could have been more. That man, Morris Mark III, made a couple of fabulous stops at the end of the half to hold it there. And it is 6-0 to Puerto Rico as we head on to the halftime break. Highlights and stats to come with Puerto Rico on top here in Group D.
Concacaf 2026. Scotiabank, el orgulloso patrocinador de la clasificatoria sub-17 Concacaf 2026. Y Scotiabank nos enorgullece en seguir impulsando el crecimiento del fútbol en la región junto a Concacaf y seguir nivelando el terreno de juego para miles de jóvenes en las Américas. Molten es el balón oficial de las clasificatorias sub-17 de Concacaf 2026. Mejora tu juego con el mandaño 5000, diseño para la máxima precisión y control. Saudi, bienvenido a Arabia, se enorgullece de patrocinar la clasificatoria sub-17 Concacaf 2026, celebrando la energía y la diversidad del fútbol en Norteamérica, Centroamérica y el Caribe. Esta asociación refleja la creencia de Arabia Saudita en el fútbol como una fuerza global para la conexión, el intercambio cultural y el progreso compartido. Bienvenidos a Arabia, donde el fútbol acerca al mundo y cada viaje conduce al corazón de Arabia.
Welcome back, everybody. Sean St. Jacques, our entire crew, happy to have you with us. Halftime of our first game of the day here in Group D, Concacaf Men's Under-17 Qualifiers between Puerto Rico and the British Virgin Islands. The first 45 went pretty perfectly from a Puerto Rican point of view. It started early and the chances would continue often throughout the first 45 minutes. The first goal would be slithered through and touched over the line just about by the captain, Dacian Delgado, to make it 1-0. Then just a couple minutes later, Delgado again, lovely 1-2. Brilliant burst finish into the bottom corner, and Puerto Rico were 2-0 up in the first 7 minutes. Then Mooring Lane, a few minutes after that, was kept onside, spins and shoots, and scores 3-0. Just like that. Then nearly an outrageous goal there off the turn by Gonzalez. We'll see more from him later. Moments after that, penalty shouts, and a penalty was given. Echeverria dispatches the penalty with ease to make it 4. Another shot off the crossbar there. Nearly another goal moments after it did not cross over the line. Then from a tight angle, another brilliant finish from, you guessed it, Nicolas Gonzalez, beg your pardon. Then a wonderful header from Caleb Simmons off a corner to just continue the good first half vibes from a Puerto Rican point of view. Now, Fernandez had a chance to add on to the scoring as well, but Morris Mark III and the rest of that defensive unit from the British Virgin Islands did finish the half rather strongly. Goalkeeper gets a huge touch on that cross in behind to stop the attempt. Then a late chance. Mark III gets his boot on the Gonzalez try. And that's where the first half ends. Puerto Rico up by half a dozen, but it could have been more. Morris Mark III and company defensively, shutting the door in the last few moments of the half, but certainly no questions about who's in charge. Puerto Rico with a huge lead, one that they'll look to build on as we get into the second half of play. 6 goals in the end from 5 different goal scorers. Really impressive from Eduardo Jimenez's boys in the first half. Halftime stats tell you the story. 20 shots for Puerto Rico, 9 on target. 2/3 of those went in, 6-0. The score, British Virgin Islands really haven't had much of a kick in the opposition's final third. Obviously, that'll have to change if they are to score a few in the second half. But Puerto Rico are in complete command. They've been very fun to watch, and they've certainly made an opening statement in those first 45 minutes. We'll step aside. We'll have the second 45 coming up in just a few moments with Puerto Rico on top by 6-0.
Just about ready to go. There is the whistle.
Underway, Concacaf Under-17 Qualifiers.
Welcome back, everybody. Moments away from the start of the second half between Puerto Rico and the British Virgin Islands. Does look like at least one change was made during that halftime interval. Get you the update on that once it is confirmed. Puerto Rico leading in this first Group D match by 6-0 due to 5 different goal scorers. And of course, the two teams will switch sides at the start of the second half. British Virgin Islands kick us off in yellow. They're going from right to left here in Alajuela in Costa Rica. We will have Costa Rica later on this afternoon when they take on Turks and Caicos to finish our first round of play in Group D at the Concacaf Under-17 men's qualifiers. If you stuck around for halftime, we showed you the stats: 20 shots to 0 in favor of Puerto Rico. 9 of those 20 were on target. And you do the math, 2/3 from that 9 found their way into the back of the net. One of them, I should add, was a penalty conversion from Diego Echeverria in the early minutes of the first half. Give credit to the British Virgin Islands. They did start to fend off more and more chances as the first half moved along. The final really 5 to 7 minutes in particular, they really started to get into a bit of a groove defensively. Now, can they turn that into chances up the other end? Of course, only the top team in each group gets the automatic bid into the FIFA Under-17 World Cup in Qatar. So Puerto Rico, being off to a very strong start, only helps them in that pursuit. We did see Puerto Rico number 9, Lucas Hernandez, entering during halftime. That was the only change we could pick up on. Again, any confirmation on that further, we will pass that along. As Maxino tries to move down this near side, heavy collision. And the decision goes the other way for a free kick. Mark Tan, who's had a couple good defensive moments for the British Virgin Islands, to leave it to Morris Mark III, who also has had some good moments defensively, particularly at the end of the first half. There was the pressure from the sub, Lucas Hernandez. It's touched out for a throw-in for the British Virgin Islands on this near side. It was thrown in by Kenroy William. Actually, Puerto Rico do win it back. Chance for Soto down the far side. Trying to work his way into space for a potential cross. Couple of stop and starts to the edge of the area here. Just maybe get the shot away. Oh, and the ball goes in. One of the other fresh faces off the bench, Derek Hernandez, is able to add on to the Puerto Rican lead. He just about snuck that through the traffic and beats the goalkeeper. Another look, just hesitated on the edge of the area. It falls kindly for him, and he picks out the bottom left-hand corner. Had to get it past a couple of defenders. Catches the goalkeeper wrong-footed as well. And, well, even if Morris Mark III had a chance at that, it was picked out beautifully into the bottom left-hand corner. Lucky number 7 for Puerto Rico. Well, there you have it. A fast start at the beginning of the first half, another fast start at the beginning of the second half, as that's going to be a foul going the other way. Free kick for the British Virgin Islands. Substitute Kenroy William helping out defensively, came in for James Tucker during the halftime break. And Mark Tan puts it back into play. Again, Puerto Rico are not going to be satisfied. They want to put up as big of a number as they can because, as we've talked about in past tournaments, in Concacaf and just in general, really, those tiebreakers, particularly in 4-team groups, could prove pivotal. So wanting to have a superior goal difference could prove to be vital for qualification. Another chance to cross this into the middle. Well, it went over Mark III's head. The pieces are picked up on this near side. Mooring Lane's ball into the middle is headed wide. Soto now tries and has to settle for a throw-in off the challenge from Vijay. That was a wonderful feed back into the middle there. The header, not so much. Mooring Lane again tried to squeeze that through. Hernandez could not corral it. It's won back by Fernandez on the far side. Soto tried a couple of step overs, loses out. And Interiano resets the play to Palacios. And then the feed through, trying to find the arriving Soto. Goes out of play, trying to link up with Lucas Hernandez, the substitute. Mooring Lane gearing up for another attack. Maxino, lovely interplay. Ball played across. Oh, it was right on the doorstep. But again, Morris Mark III is there off his line. More good service. Well, the referee has spotted something here and has stopped the play. Looks like Mark Tan. He's in need of a stretch or two here. He's helped out by his teammate Miles Penn. Well, when you don't have a lot of the ball, it just tends to wear you down as a team throughout the game. And well, you could tell just from the possession stats, but also shots and shots on target from the first half. The British Virgin Islands have just not had any substantial possession on the ball in this match, and it's wearing their players out. There's no question about that. Puerto Rico have done a wonderful job of just holding onto the ball, but also being able to create quite a bit of chances with it. And that is just going to wear out a defensive unit as the match moves along. Felix Percival is going to have potentially some tough decisions to make. Has only used one change so far, with Kenroy William coming on for James Tucker at the half. Puerto Rico are down to 3 changes. We mentioned Lucas and Derek Hernandez both coming on, replacing Nicolas Gonzalez, and the captain, Delgado, made way at halftime as well. One thing we should mention as well is that the British Virgin Islands did have a couple of late scratches to their substitutes bench before kickoff. One of them was a goalkeeper that was removed, and then a defender on top of that. Not going to impact the amount of changes they can make, but it does impact the pool for which Felix Percival has to choose from, particularly in that defensive back line. Lovely run here into the penalty area. The shot, he's speared into the side netting from Regnan Mancino. Not able to hit the target, but made a wonderful run to get into a good position. Regnan Mancino has had a very strong game to this point, mostly in the facilitation category. Went for a goal himself there, could not test the goalkeeper. Flag goes up, it was out of play. Quick throw in for Puerto Rico on the far side, who have had their foot on the gas throughout. Now then, a weaving, cutting run from Mooring Lane, who lays it off to the far side. Soto plays it to the byline, challenge comes in. Ooh, and the referee tells Mooring Lane to get back up, no penalty. It's a goal kick in the end. Well, there was 1 or 2 shouts here for a penalty. Ooh, and the arm was extended from Stewart. Referee says there was not enough contact. Wow. Well, remember, there's no VAR, so the referee's decision there is final. You could tell Puerto Rico did not exactly agree with the referee's decision there. I'm sure something Felix Percival will pass along to his defense to not make challenges like that. They were a bit lucky to get away with that one, I must say. Could have easily gone the other direction as far as the referee's decision. Early ball play to the edge of the area. It opens up beautifully here. Puerto Rico are in, and they score again. Marvelous team goal finished off by Lucas Hernandez, who makes it 8. 8 great goals from Puerto Rico. Well, that's why they brought him on. Lucas Hernandez makes a brilliant run. Acres of space. Angle was slightly against him here, but he goes near post, and Morris Mark III again gets fingertips to it, but is beaten for pace. And Puerto Rico continue their dominant display here in Group D. Is poked forward when it could find its way through again through the heart of the defense, and in the blink of an eye there's another, and it's the same man, Lucas Hernandez, who scores in double quick time. 2 goals in the blink of an eye. He's on a hat-trick, and Puerto Rico keeps slicing and dicing their way through. Another fabulous finish. Lucas Hernandez finds his way through, just had to hold off the advances of Theo Combs. He's able to do that and finishes wonderfully into the bottom right-hand corner, and he runs off to celebrate yet again on this near side. Well, it's been a wonderful hour of play from Puerto Rico, and Lucas Hernandez all of a sudden is one off a hat trick. Comes some changes here for Puerto Rico. Looks like multiple changes are going to be made with half an hour to go. Marcus Nazaire, Armando Montalvan, both coming on. Looked like Palacios and Soto making way there. Montalvan comes on for Soto in a like-for-like switch at the back. And Denzel Palacios making way as well in that midfield setup. There's Simmons, scored a wonderful header in the first half of play. A chance on the byline here, pushing a chase. Oh, it's a swing and a miss, and there's the goal from Nazaire, who just came on. I think that's Marcus Nazaire's first touch off the bench, and he puts Puerto Rico into double figures. Well, another wonderful run down that far side. A swing and a miss there defensively opens up the chance. And the British Virgin Islands could not react quickly enough to that miscue. And Nazaire, with a very, very clinical finish, had to fit it through a little bit of a tight hole there. A couple defenders and the goalkeeper lunge at it. None could get a definitive touch. And Puerto Rico's delightful display continues. Well, Eduardo Jimenez continues to push the right buttons. Brings on fresh legs, and almost all of them have already made an impact very quickly indeed. We said at the top of the broadcast, one of these two teams needed to make a statement if they were to try to keep in touching distance of Costa Rica and put some pressure on them as they'll take on Turks and Caicos later. Puerto Rico have certainly done that, no questions about it. And they're on the front foot again here. Oh, it's a clumsy challenge, and it's going to be another penalty. Puerto Rico have asked a couple of times in this second half for spot kicks off of challenges very similar to that one. The referee says it is enough, and we head back to the penalty spot for a second time. It's Echeverria who scored the penalty in the first half. He wins a penalty here in the second half as he's pushed to the ground. Do need a bit of a moment here to have a potential penalty taker get his boot right. It looks like it will be Diego Echeverria to take yet again. He's now got the captain's armband after Delgado was substituted at halftime. He did convert his penalty with ease in the first half. And Echeverria is ready to take his second spot kick of the afternoon. Normally you see the goalkeeper try to put off the penalty taker by wasting some time. I don't think Echeverria was trying to do that, but it may have the opposite effect here. Echeverria goes up against Morris Mark III for a second time and beats him for a second time. Echeverria has a brace of penalties, and Puerto Rico, with 25 minutes to go, are hungry to keep on adding on. Another look, there really wasn't much doubt about this as being a penalty. There was a bit of a push-off at the back there. And Echeverria, who won the penalty this time, scores the penalty. He goes the opposite way that he did in the first half. Credit Morris Mark III. He guesses right, but is beaten for pace and, frankly, beaten for accuracy as well. Right into the bottom left-hand corner, just about. At least it was enough in the bottom left-hand corner to beat the goalkeeper and give Puerto Rico yet another. Ooh, the goalkeeper's gonna commit here. Oh, and the referee immediately points for another penalty. Morris Mark III comes well off his line here, does not get the challenge right on Lucas Hernandez, who is down hurt here. Referee, oh, he initially had a yellow card out. He now has a red card out. And I believe he sent off the goalkeeper, Morris Mark III, for that challenge and the denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity as things go from bad to worse. And there's the reason why. The boot is high, it's extended. Ooh, it hits the knee of Lucas Hernandez. I don't think the referee had much of a choice. Initially, the referee did have a yellow card out. That must be mentioned. But he looked, again, at the impact it had on Lucas Hernandez. He changes it to a red card here. And the British Virgin Islands are not only down to 10, they lose their goalkeeper here and are going to have to make a change. And by the way, Puerto Rico may have to make a change as well, as Lucas Hernandez is still feeling the after effects. And remember, we talked about how Felix Percival had to make a late couple of scratches to his subs bench. One of those was a goalkeeper, but the good news is Akeem Patty is still available and is warming up for the British Virgin Islands as we speak. Puerto Rico are warming up a few substitutes as well. Leighton Wadsworth, it appears, is getting prepared. And Wadsworth, it appears, is going to come on here. And now the British Virgin Islands will have to sacrifice an outfield player to get their backup goalkeeper on. What a wild moment. So Wadsworth is getting prepared to come on for the substitute. Lucas Hernandez, who was playing so well in these last 15 to 20 minutes off the bench. And unfortunately, his match is going to be cut short here. And we hope, of course, that it's not too serious. He was brave to go in for that ball with Morris Mark III bearing down on him. He got the worst of it. Obviously, we saw the replay. Clear-cut penalty. And obviously, from the replay as well, we could tell why the referee changed his mind from yellow to red as far as the card color was concerned. It was a dangerous challenge and the denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity. Here's the moment again. Both players actually did not get clean contact on the ball, but Hernandez tried to jump out of the way. Morris Mark III clearly catches him. And you know the rest. Akeem Patty is in. Richard Arthur is who sacrificed one of the attacking players for Felix Percival's group. And he'll immediately have to take on a penalty, which is also going to be a fascinating moment to see play out. Unfortunately, that's going to be it for Lucas Hernandez. We hope we see him again sooner rather than later at these qualifiers. Hopefully the injury is not too serious. And again, it appears, based on the warm-ups we saw, that Leighton Wadsworth, he's going to come on to replace Puerto Rico's number 9 as we tick down into the final 20 minutes. There is Wadsworth, who has entered the fray. And there is the unfortunate Lucas Hernandez. We send again our best wishes to him. And now, Diego Echeverria has a chance to complete a hat-trick of penalties. He faces a different goalkeeper this time in Patty. Echeverria for the hat-trick. He gets the hat-trick, just squeezing it underneath Patty. A hat-trick of spot kick conversions for Echeverria. Patty gets a big bit of contact on it, but could not save it. Puerto Rico are up by a dozen. They're up a man for the last 20 minutes. And Diego Echeverria is 3 for 3 from the penalty spot. That third one was the toughest one of the bunch as far as difficulty was concerned, but he gets it underneath Patty and converts. Well, Patty, you could tell, thought that he needed to dive a bit higher into the air to get to it, but it sneaks underneath him. And Echeverria completes a hat-trick with the captain's armband on. Well, when it's going your way, it just seems to go your way. And that is what is happening for Puerto Rico in this game. And for the British Virgin Islands, they had some great defensive moments at the end of the first half. It has unraveled a bit here in the second half, no questions about that. And now you lose one of your better players. And by the way, that could of course impact their next game as well, a red card. And now a man light and a different goalkeeper in. They have to try to fight off more of these attacks as Puerto Rico win another corner. Nazaire will leave it for Derek Hernandez, who clips the ball in. Oh, and it was a free header. Patty did not get anything on it. It was Andre Fernandez who was able to head it but could not put it on frame. So that is a push and a chase down that far side. It does run out of play. And we'll go back to Puerto Rico, who again, they know the message and the mission here. Score as many times as you can, because the Ticos are on deck against Turks and Caicos. They'll be hoping to do the exact same thing in our second game if things go their way. Another decent delivery into the middle, but too tall for anybody in blue as it rolls out of play. This was the chance earlier. Andre Fernandez, unmarked at the back stick, and you could tell by his reaction he felt he should have scored that. That's going to bounce out of play, throw in on the far side for the British Virgin Islands, still yet to have a shot in this game. Combs, quick feed down that far side, was able to feather it through, but again, to no avail as Puerto Rico quickly win it back. That's kind of been the story for the British Virgin Islands. When they get it into the opposition half, they have not been able to keep it for very long, and certainly have not been able to keep it in time to create a chance. And you have to credit Puerto Rico for being so stingy defensively and so strong in possession as that ball trickles out of play. It's a goal kick, and it will take us into the final 15 minutes plus stoppage time. And then, of course, a reminder, we take a bit of an intermission after that. And then about an hour after this game concludes, we'll have the second game to open up play in Group D. Turks and Caicos taking on the hosts, Costa Rica, here in Alajuela. The Ticos, of course, will be home favorites. We'll see how they respond after Puerto Rico have put them under a bit of pressure here with this first game performance. That's a long distance hit. One that is wasted in the end. Montalvan sends it well off target. Of course, other matches were played in the prior days. St. Martin with a big 3-0 win in Port of Spain. A couple of days ago, Barbados in Group A beating Trinidad and Tobago as that shot is saved by Patty. That was quite the result in Group A. And alongside us here in Group D, Group B and C both open up action today as well. Group C will be in Guatemala City. Group B will be in Panama City. All those games will be later on tonight. And then E, F, G, and H also will be kicking off either tonight or later on in the week. The DR in Group E are leading St. Kitts and Nevis by 1-0 in the first half. Another live game in these qualifiers. Certainly Puerto Rico are the team making the big headlines with this massive scoreline here. They're on the attack again here. And again, there were men over to pick out, but the shot is out of play. Ooh, that was from earlier in the sequence. That was Miles Penn. He may have picked up an injury there. He is being looked after at the moment, so for a brief period here, the British Virgin Islands are going to be down to 9 players. I will say, I know it's the first game as another player, Echeverria, needs a moment. And here's the reason why. He lands awkwardly here, does he? Echeverria maybe had the wind knocked out of him there. The reason I bring that up from the British Virgin Islands point of view is they still have 3 substitutions that they could use here to try and save their legs. They still have 2 games left. And of course, just because you lose the first game doesn't mean that you're out. It makes it tougher, but there's still a chance to bounce back in this group, and saving the legs, particularly after your goalkeeper was sent off with a straight red, might not be the worst idea, but the British Virgin Islands have not used those extra subs yet. These games are played in pretty quick succession, so you do wonder if by the end of the 90, the British Virgin Islands will go to the bench a couple more times at a minimum. Just from the standpoint of saving legs for the days to come. That's played to the edge of the area. Lovely first touch. Another clattering together. No penalty, says the referee. That is clipped forward on this near side, and that was lost in translation in the end. Montalvan cannot pick out a teammate, as Miles Penn has rejoined us here, so the British Virgin Islands are back to 10 men with about 10 minutes plus stoppages left. Oh, and the referee has stopped the play here. Oh, it appears to be a miscued. Or was it a miscue? No, the referee has given a drop ball. I wondered if the British Virgin Islands got that wrong, playing out of the back somehow, but they did start with possession here. Puerto Rico quickly win possession back. They flood more numbers forward here. Chance to cut inside. The cross into the middle is dealt with and cleared. But Puerto Rico regain it on the far side. Andre Fernandez sees it cleared away by McSheen and out for a throw. You can see Mooring Lane, number 5 in blue, wants them to switch it over to this near side. They do acquiesce, Puerto Rico. Chance to cut it on the byline, Nazaire. Well, again, another look for a penalty there, at least a foul. Referee not interested. Nazaire picks it up on this near sideline and loses out. But it's quickly won back by Puerto Rico. Montalvan. Tiriano out wide. Andre Fernandez now. Could fall for Fernandez on the byline, but he wins a throw-in instead. Now then, Echeverria. Montalvan. Mooring Lane. Clips it in behind. And the header is off target from the hat-trick hero, Echeverria. Looking for his first goal from open play. They've all been penalty conversions for the new captain. Patty under pressure. Does clear it upfield. Quickly won back by Mooring Lane. Fernandez up ahead. Like that was Wadsworth trying to make some headway, could not. Now a nice gliding run to the byline here. The layoff is cut out, and Combs clears for the British Virgin Islands. Here's Mooring Lane again. Gets it back on this near side. Simmons. Montalvan out wide. This is Fernandez. He tried to play it square. It ricochets to Akeem Patty in goal. Mooring Lane. Nazaire. Great cross. Patty commits, did not get it. And then on the opposite side of the 6, it deflects out for a corner after Maxino tried to follow up. Now one more look at it. Patty just dives to try to get something on it. He did not. British Virgin Islands closed it down, but now have to deal with the corner. Derek Hernandez bluffed at it. Now takes it. Simmons tried to get a touch onto it. It's clear to the outskirts. Nazaire miscontrols it. Still a chance to cross this into the middle. It's a good cross. Oh, and it's just over everybody's head. Still not cleared. The recycle. Nazaire clips it back in. Patty makes the catch. Just under 5 minutes plus stoppage time left. Mooring Lane. To be fair, just like the first half, the British Virgin Islands are finishing pretty strong so far at the end of the second half. But Puerto Rico keep on coming, give and go with Nazaire, and then a tug back and a free kick going the other way. Another player down in need of a stretch or two. And there's the foul. Mooring Lane. Remember, this group has a day off tomorrow before it regathers, I should say. And that'll be on Saturday. Again, it'll be some early kickoffs. Turks and Caicos will take on Puerto Rico. And then the hosts, Costa Rica, will take on the British Virgin Islands, who will be in need of a bounce back. Again, another player being down, it kind of alludes again to the fact that should Felix Percival had made a couple more changes here towards the end, just to try to save the legs of a few of his players. Can they have such a quick turnaround going into Saturday? And it's one of the substitutes as well. William, who gets in there initially, and then on the follow-up, it's one of his teammates who was injured earlier, Miles Penn, who is still struggling here. Totally get the fact that you want to see your players finish out a 90-minute game no matter what the circumstances are in the game, but in a group stage format such as this, you do wonder about making changes, although it does look like Devin Daly has now entered the field of play for the British Virgin Islands. He is one of their substitutes, so there is the answer to that question. Just with the quick turnaround going into the weekend and then having another game after that, want to give yourself the best chance to bounce back. The British Virgin Islands could still grab 6 points out of this group. On the turn there was Quinn Pasco. He loses the ball. Chance for Puerto Rico in transition here. It's Fizz towards the penalty spot here. Oh, and on the turn, Derek Hernandez. Clever feet in tight quarters, but the shot is blazed over. Well, great feed into that penalty spot area. Wonderful first touch by Hernandez. He works quickly, but not quite accurately enough on the shot. Great effort as we are into the 90th minute. Montalvan plays it onto the near side. It's helped down the line by Nazaire and touched out for a corner on the near side. Mooring Lane will take it short. Nazaire to the byline. Crossed, blocked initially, played it back to the edge of the 6. It's popped up into the air. Hernandez keeps it alive. Wadsworth on the turn. Back for Derek Hernandez, closed down. Tries again, blocked again. And the British Virgin Islands clear it as we enter stoppage time. Puerto Rico gear up for another attack. They've worked quickly here through the lines. Maxino, ooh, he's about to make his mind up there. But the offside flag goes up. It might have been up for a while. And that ends the sequence. Mooring lane. Had a miscued kick. Gets his body in front to make up for it. And then picks the ball off here, Mooring lane. He gets inside the area here. Skips past a couple of challenges. The layoff to Nazaire, who lets the shot go. And it's saved by Patty. Incredible effort by Luis Mooring lane. Made that entire moment happen after a miscue. But his teammate, Marcus Nazaire, is not able to score there. Montalvan onto this near side, mooring lane. Nazaire thought about moving it forward, thinks better of it. Getting towards the end of 2 additional minutes at a minimum here. At the end of the game. Can Puerto Rico put another cherry on top of what's already been a sparkling Sunday? Simmons. British Virgin Islands will clear it. And it's out for a throw-in on the far side. DeAndre McSheen, another good defensive clearance. Remember, there were a couple of injury stoppages in this second half, so not surprised that we play on here. Nazaire really tried to feed that through. Mooring lane goes back to work on this near side. Great cross into the middle, just a little too close to the goalkeeper, and Patty makes the catch. And Puerto Rico trying to finish strong here. Working their way through the defense. The layoff is for Echeverria, who tried a Trivela hit from the edge of the penalty area. It loops out of play. Well, he's already had a hat trick in this game, as we are well into a 4th additional minute here. Looks like there was going to be a schedule of 3 added minutes, but remember, that's a minimum of stoppage time. So Puerto Rico could have a chance for one more attack here at a minimum. Interiano for Simmons. Simmons tries to switch the point of the attack, finds Nazaire. His cross into the middle is touched down, but Patty is able to corral it. Puerto Rico control it in their own half. Referee still yet to blow the whistle here. Wonder what this additional time tacked on the end is for. Maybe the cramps at the end of these 90 minutes. That's a foul by Nazaire, edge of the penalty area. Free kick for the British Virgin Islands, as the referee will blow for full time here in Alajuela. An outstanding opening performance from Puerto Rico from start to finish. They score 6 goals in each half and win it by 12 goals to nil over the British Virgin Islands, who finished the game with just 10 on the pitch. It really was Puerto Rico's match from the first whistle to the last, and a multitude of different players got in on the action as far as the goal scoring is concerned. Going to be a tough one for the British Virgin Islands to bounce back from if they are to qualify in first place in this group. No questions about that. But more importantly for them, they'll look to try and get well rested, rest a few of the players that picked up bumps and bruises, and they're very likely to be without their top goalkeeper, who was sent off for a straight red card in the second half, which reduced the squad down to 10. Akeem Paddy will likely have to step in for a full 90 minutes when the British Virgin Islands play Costa Rica in their next game. Puerto Rico will take on Turks and Caicos next on Saturday before a showdown with Costa Rica a couple of days after that. Costa Rica and Turks and Caicos are coming up next. Just over an hour's time, we'll have the kickoff for you here in Group D. But it's Puerto Rico who make the first big statement in this entirety of Concacaf men's under-17 qualifying with a massive lopsided victory. A dominant performance, really, over the British Virgin Islands in their first ever meeting at the under-17 level of Concacaf qualifying. Puts Puerto Rico in a good position, with Costa Rica and Turks and Caicos looking to answer with a good performance in our second game coming up in just over an hour's time. We will get to the stats in just a moment, but first, we do have full-time highlights for you here from Alajuela in Costa Rica. And again, it didn't take long for Puerto Rico to put their pedal to the metal in this first half. It began with a captain's goal from Delgado, who was able to spin it past the goalkeeper, Mark III, inside of the opening couple of minutes. 2 minutes after that, Delgado at the double, scores again. Great feed into the middle. First time finish, 2-0 in the blink. Then Mooring Lane off a corner, kept onside, spins and scores to make it 3. Then a trip and a penalty a few moments after that led to Diego Echeverria's strong start to the day. He converts the penalty to make it 4-0. He was just getting started. There would be some missed chances, but the likes of Nicolas Gonzalez and company would just continue to dispatch big moments. Great finish from Gonzalez. Then Simmons with a majestic leap and header into the back of the net. 6-0, Puerto Rico led after 45 minutes. And, well, it really just continued on into the second half. The British Virgin Islands had some valiant defensive moments. Never could turn that into anything strong possession or attacking-wise in the second half. And credit the manager, Eduardo Jimenez, made changes, and the fresh legs kept on adding to the score sheet. Derek Hernandez, a substitute, made it 7. Lucas Hernandez, another substitute, he would score a couple of quick goals as well to make it 8 there, and then to make it 9-0 a few moments later, as Puerto Rico really were the better side throughout. Then cross into the middle, another substitute. How about that finish? Marcus Nazaire. That was his first touch after coming on as a substitute. He would score it. Then a foul penalty. Diego Echeverria wins this penalty. He would score the penalty. His second conversion out of 2 attempts from the penalty spot. Then a tough moment here. Lucas Hernandez fouled, another penalty. Straight red card for Morris Mark III, the goalkeeper, sent off. British Virgin Islands down to 10. Diego Echeverria steps up to take his 3rd spot kick, and it's his 3rd conversion. A hat-trick of penalties for Echeverria. And by that point, Puerto Rico were into double figures as the new goalkeeper, Akeem Paddy, could not keep it out. 12-0 is the final score. Puerto Rico make the firmest opening statement yet in these qualifiers at CONCACAF's under-17 level. It's over to you, Costa Rica and Turks and Caicos, to try and find the answer in our second game of the day. Full-time stats look like this, just more one-way traffic, really, in the second half. But give credit to Puerto Rico. 17 of the 36 shots were on target, and of those 17 shots on target, 12 of them found the back of the net. That's an incredibly clinical percentage, on top of their ball possession, which was dominant throughout. And then the tough part, really, for the British Virgin Islands, obviously a difficult defeat to take, but now your goalkeeper being sent off and a couple of players being bumped and bruised could impact the rest of their tournament, but we'll wait and see on that. Puerto Rico win our first game of the day here in Group D. We'll have a short intermission for now. The Ticos of Costa Rica will take on Turks and Caicos in about an hour's time. We will see you then after a resounding Puerto Rico win in Game 1.
pero si pecho tiene que estar allá. Uno y 10 empieza el calentamiento, entonces si quiere... Eso, a las 1 y 10 empieza el entrenamiento y para...
Y si quieres me busca de nunca. Y si quieres me busca que aquí estoy. Me gusta tu boca y la curva de tu body. En baile mujer ya casi me gusta.
Que suene duro ese vals. Y si entra el agua, mami, que prendan los flash. Yo no me voy de aquí si no tengo una peli black. Que escuche danzar y tenga grande eso atrás. Un recuerdo, un flash, pagas así hoy a tu día. Esa nuevecita, mamacita, cero mía. Vamos todo el fin de aparcharnos en la villa. Esto es secretico donde nadie nos pilla, nadie nos pilla.
Hay una que baila y danza del doctor merece todo. Su mini, a mí no quiso. Sencilla, alta, suelta, mami no se do. Su mini, a mí no quiso. Una que baila y danza del doctor merece todo. Su mini, a mí no quiso. Sencilla, alta, suelta, mami no se do. Su mini, a mí no quiso.
Llegó hasta la mafia que convoquen la muñeca. Hoy yo voy salido pa' la yeca. Vamos pa' la finca después de la discoteca. No te hagas la santa mamacita que tú pecas. Oh no, baby, don't go. Vamos a cogerlo slow. Siente la vibra escuchando este dancehall. Pero tenemos algo pendiente tú y yo después del show. Bye, bye. No nos miran pero chao, bye, bye. Conmigo está chimba, no woman, no cry. Aunque yo ya sé que es la que menos room fry. Bam, bam, biram, bam,
Una que baila y danza del doctor merece todo. Su mini, a mí no quiso. Sencilla, alta, suelta, mami no se do. Su mini, a mí no quiso.
Una que baila y danza el doctor merece todo. Su mini, a mí no quiso. Sexy, alta, anda suelta, mami lo sé todo. Su mini, a mí no quiso.
Ay, me fascina tu estilo, arrebata. Un vivo zanca, mami me son saca. Y pon la mano en la pared. Así tal cual el doctor me la medicó. Nada genérico, ni químico. Yo soy su capo, también soy su lulipo. Brilla mi lulipo, como estrella de pop. Mami, baby, bye. Te hagan fila, tu purito es mine. Te hagan fila.
Una que baila y danza el doctor merece todo. Su mini, a mí no quiso. Sexy, alta,